Welcome to the final Harcourts One Champion session for 2014. With social media, there's no real right or wrong answer, okay? It's what's going to work for you. And what works for you might not work for anyone else, but who cares? If it's working for you, that's great. So some of the stuff, we've got some really good examples. I've tried to pick good examples from people that are in this room. There's also, I don't want to say bad examples, but more perhaps things that I wouldn't necessarily recommend. Again, it's from pages within this room that we're going to be looking at. But as I said, there's no right or wrong answer. It's more actually just looking at the facts, like how many people have potentially seen those posts. And you'll see between the ones that we recommend versus the ones we don't recommend, have the vast difference between how many people they're seeing as well. So first of all, what is social media? A lot of people just think, okay, it's all these different platforms and there are so many. So exactly. What is Foursquare? What is Dig? And that's just a tiny proportion. Worldwide, there's hundreds of social media platforms. So more about a social media breakdown. So the media aspect is really talking about, it's a form of communication. Okay, so media, newspapers, TVs, radios, any sort of media outlet. Then you look at social. Interaction, this is actually a definition on the internet, interaction of organisms with other organisms. Okay, so that's what's being social. So we're an organism, we're humans, and we interact, and that's being social. So I put the two together, and it's almost like it's an interactive newspaper. And it was someone at Landmark the other day when I was doing a bit of social media actually said, so it's just like an online newspaper. And I said, yeah, actually, that's a really good way to put it. Except you can interact. So someone that posts about the media, you can now ask questions, you can comment, and that makes its social aspect side of the media. Okay. So this is the video. This is a video, it's up to date, it's 2014 stats, and it's really just all about social media and why we're now looking and why social media is so big. Come back to that in a sec. All right, so why we covered a bit of it. It's free marketing and branding. You know, I mean, other than our time, you really don't need to be spending much money at all. You can obviously spend money and start advertising on social media and do all this, but there's not necessarily the need to. It enables us to engage with our clients or even potential clients as well. Okay, and I guess that's the thing about social media. It's so easy. You know, you look at online dating. You know, it's easier to meet people online these days as opposed to actually having to go out of our house and go to the pub or wherever we're going to go to meet somebody. Okay, so same thing with our clients. We don't necessarily have to be door knocking or physically going out and doing it. We've just got all this online space where we can interact with clients. So it helps us build relationships, build exposure. It is also good for search engine optimization, which is your Google rankings. Okay, so certain social media platforms will have better rankings. We talk a little bit about Google Plus, but not too much. But Google Plus is essentially Google's answer to Facebook, really. Some people may have heard it, some people might not. It's been around for a while now. I'm pretty sure Google was expecting it to do better than it did or is doing, but it's Google. Eventually, they can just be like, well, we're not going to even rank Facebook. We're not going to rank anyone else. You've got to get on Google Plus. And they're kind of with the Google Maps, so for anyone that did the online marketing session, we talked about Google Places and Google Businesses. Essentially, that's forced people now. There used to be like a Google Maps page which was separate to Google Plus. Now they've just merged it together, so they're basically forcing businesses to have a Google Plus page. You're able to listen to what the public has to say. You know, I still talk to business owners, new ones, existing ones. And you're like, oh yeah, but what if someone says something bad? You know, what if they post something bad on their page? The answer is they're probably doing it anyway. At least you may as well know about it rather than bury your head in the sand and pretend it's not happening. So at least it gives you the opportunity to listen and to try and fix or resolve any issues. Okay. So I just can't get in my head why people are still like, no, I don't want to be on it. What if there's something bad? But it still does happen. And in this day and age, you're almost expected to be on it. Quite often, rather than even Googling a business, if I'm already on Facebook and I think of something, I'm like, oh, I'll just look for them, find them on Facebook, especially for phone numbers or websites. It is really easy to be able to search and look for people. Having said that, the worst thing is having a page set up and you never post on it. If it's sitting there, even if it's only a couple of posts, like one a week, that's probably bare minimum. But if you've set a page up and there hasn't been a post for months and someone goes there, it just looks bad. You may as well not have a page if that's the case. Like Harcourts can, certain offices or even, I've pointed out to Mike Green before that there's certain Harcourts accounts that should be looked after but aren't being looked after. Literally from 2012, and this was last year that I was showing him some stuff, or earlier this year. So yeah, does look really bad if it is set up and just hasn't been posted on. So just bear that one in mind as well. Alright, so even though when we get started with social media, it's important to have some sort of a goal. What do we want to do with this? It's one thing to have it set up and doing it, but why? Why are we doing it? Try and have some sort of metrics, and that could be as simple as you just want to use it to help drive more traffic to your website, where they can see more information about what you guys do, the services that you offer, and that might even drive on particular pages. It could be you might drive people to the page where they can click for the Blue Book, but also on that page you might have a subscribe to the Blue Book. Right, so your goal might be you want to drive traffic to your website, but then you also want to drive more subscription to the Blue Book or to another newsletter or something like that as well. Oh yeah, you might want to drive more YouTube views, and we'll talk about YouTube today as well. We just talked about that, which follows on to building your database. Okay, and even if it says, right, we want to build more on our database, set a goal. How many people do you want to add to your database each month? And it might start off, your goal might be 2 a month. Just throw a number out, at least you got something. And then the next year you might rank that to 5 a month. And then the more you play and you start to work out and build your following of people, and as you build that following, you put out good content, you're going to find people that are, I guess, more loyal to interact with you, and then they're going to recommend more, and then you're going to get more people signing up as well. It might also just be, your goal might be to build engagement. So each post that you put out now, I don't know if anyone manages the page, you'll see this post has reached, or how many people it's reached. Really all that's talking about is how many news feeds it's shown up in. You can't actually tell if they've read it, but at least they've shown up in that many news feeds. Okay. So the build engagement might be that as you put something out, it might be on average, 30, 50, 100, whatever. But you might say, right, we want to get the average up next year to 200, and then the following year 300, or whatever that case might be. Okay. So it's just important to have some sort of goals around it. There's another. Yeah, cool. I wouldn't necessarily concentrate on the number of likes or the number of followers or anything like that. Can anyone tell me why I might say that? Yep. Yep.
I like a lot of things, but I actually like them, but I don't click the like button.
Yeah, it's more around quality of the people that are following you, not the quantity of them. You could have 100,000 people following your page, but if no one gives a rat's ass about what you're posting, who cares? You're better off having 10 people that interact and actually care and communicate with you than that 100,000 people. So that's why I'm talking about this. The other thing you might want to do that we've done with certain parts of our social media is even like we've heard about ideal work weeks. Why not have an ideal social media week or an ideal social media month? So you might pick, okay, these are the types of posts that we actually want to put out there, but to make it consistent, we might have a sold result post once a month, and it might go out on a particular day of the month, like after the first week, so you've got all your stats in for the whole previous month. You might have DIY tips, and you might put that out on a Friday because it's close to the weekend when people are actually going to be doing their home renovations and stuff like that.
There was a session at one of the conferences on social media I went to with
So Katie McLeese?
Yeah,
Yep.
and she talked about, which is obvious now to say it, but specific times that you should be posting. Obviously, in the morning, you're not going to get, such a huge engagement. But
It's actually
depends what you're posting, I guess. But
depends on what you're posting and what your line of business is. Part of specifically Facebook, and we're going to talk a lot more about it, but inside Facebook there's insights, and you can actually go in and find out what times of the day most of the people that follow your page are actually online on Facebook. Do you want me to show you?
yeah, that's good.
Just see how I hover over that photo and the photo becomes really big? There's a plugin for that. There's a whole lots of plugins that you can get for your browsers, so that's a Chrome plugin. So anytime you hover over a photo, bang, it pops up without having to click on it as well. Alright, so on the page up the top, we've got insights. Yeah, so people, posts, and then this shows me from midnight to midnight. So yeah, around 7 p.m. is when the most people are online, or 6 p.m. And it slightly changes depending on the week, but I know between 6 and 8 is probably often when we have the most people online. Real estate agents, they work their day, they're at home, they're probably doing dinner and stuff with the family or kids or whatever they're doing. But early in the morning is also quite high because we are fast paced, we get up, we wake up, as we're waking up, we're online. Perhaps when we first get to work, 9 o'clock, again, it's probably middle of the day when you're having lunch. So that's probably a fairly average looking thing. My mate, who's a web developer, he does a bit of social media with a lot of pubs. and for them during the day, not at night, is quite big. People out, work people looking for lunch, online, engaging, all that sort of stuff. So it will slightly differ, but that's a pretty cool stat to sort of know about, so at least to be able to have a play around with what time of day you want to put those posts out. Today I'll also show you how we can schedule posts so you don't have to be sitting at home at 8, 9 o'clock at night clicking post on that button. You can schedule it a week or 6 months in advance to go out at 8 o'clock at night on Christmas Day if you wanted to. So I'll show you how we can also schedule those posts too. Okay. No, it's actually only on business pages, not on personal.
Father's Day, Mother's Day, it's all set up.
Yeah.
But I've done it and I thought it was right.
Yeah. Nah.
I thought it was one of them and I thought, we don't have that.
Yeah. No. I'll show you and I'll talk more about that afterwards as well. We might end up having a break early, guys. I'm not sure when the actual break thing's coming up. I know, it's in a little bit. Okay, cool. So now I want to talk a bit about a couple of the different platforms, what I'd recommend, perhaps what I don't recommend, and just discuss it. Even though what I'm recommending or don't recommend, as I said, what I'm saying is not necessarily right or wrong for you. I'm just trying to give you, I guess, a bit of a guide as to what perhaps I would concentrate my time on, at least to start with. So first of all, I want to cover Facebook. It is the biggest. I brought this up because you can actually do really cool things with your profile pic and your cover photos. So that's just the cover photo, and he's made it so it looks 3D to drop into his profile pic, which is pretty cool. If you could do something for your office, that in itself would probably drive a bit of that virality, because people are like, oh wow, check out this page, look what they've done. Okay, so just thought I'd chuck that into something a bit different. Alright, so with Facebook, how many people do you know that aren't on Facebook?
Yeah, I know parents.
Yeah, there's not many people. I've got a few friends, especially country people. They tend to just sort of stay away from it. So in Tassie, I know a few people, but even my grandma had signed up at one point. There's a lot of people on Facebook. In fact, there's 13.2 million Australians on Facebook. Now, you have to be over the age of 13 to be on Facebook, technically. So if you cut out anyone under 13, and perhaps anyone that's quite old but perhaps don't even know how to use a computer, that's a fair proportion of the rest of the population that's left that are on Facebook. That's why we really need to be looking and concentrating on Facebook. So pages versus profiles. So we already discussed with both insights and scheduling. So with a page, you can set up and you can schedule posts. At this stage, in Facebook itself, you can't do that with your personal one. There are third-party applications which you can do it, but just not within Facebook itself. Okay. So with business, so with a business, so with the pages that we'd be looking after, or what we recommend, is sometimes, and especially in the early days, people had no idea what they were doing, and they'd set up their profile, so you could friend request and become friends with them as a business. Technically, that's against the terms and conditions of Facebook. Okay, so that's one reason why we'd suggest the page. Also, with your personal profile, you can only ever have 5,000 friends on Facebook. Once you hit 5,000, it just caps. You can't get any more. So that's why they recommend. So I've what? Yeah. So I've got a few mates. Like one of my mates from Sydney is one of the best rollerbladers in the world right now, and so he's hit his cap because he travels around the world rollerblading, and so everyone's like, oh, you want to be friends with you, Bob? And he's capped out. So he had to then create a page and put him across to that. And there's been a few people. So celebrities, bands, businesses, all that sort of stuff, they're saying they want them on the page. And the reason they put that 5,000 cap is so businesses didn't set the pages up. And again, the reason why it's against the terms and conditions, imagine if Coca-Cola, a massive company, or even us or anybody else, had no friends cap limit. They just set up a profile and they friend requested everybody in the entire world. Do you think that's spam? And that's why Facebook's done that, is to stop people from going out and doing that. So with the pages, it becomes more like a website where you've got your website, you've got to drive traffic, you've got to tell people about your website, promote it, get it up in Google rankings, whatever the case may be. same thing needs to happen with your pages. Okay, you can invite, if you're a page manager, you can invite your friends, but as a page, you can't invite random people that you don't know, other than perhaps sending a link out through email marketing or promoting it that way. Okay, so it's making that, say, hey guys, we've got a page, we've got a website, whatever the case may be, please like us, please follow us, whatever. So the scheduling, I'll cover that now while we've talked about it. Now, in order to be able to schedule posts, you must have set up either when your office was founded, opened, started, whatever the case may be. So you need to make sure down the very bottom that you've got the date, either it was founded or that it was opened the doors from the office or whatever you want to choose. Without doing that, you won't be able to set your scheduling up. I don't know why, but it's just what Facebook said. Alright, so the scheduling side of things, once, as I said, you've got that date in there, whenever I go to post, and I can either put a photo, put a post in here, whatever the case may be, depending on the page and depending on Facebook's personality on the day, will depend on whether you click here for a little clock icon, or whether, so mine's changed, I now have to click here. So if I click that, I can schedule post or backdate post. So schedule post gives me the date and then the time. I can just, 12. Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, you've got to be more than 10 minutes in advance, but you can't go more than 6 months. Okay. So with stuff like your Christmas, New Year's, Melbourne Cup, all that, T and I actually sit down every 6 months. We've got a spreadsheet that we put together of all the things every single year that we want to do. And then we just sit down, make sure we've got the right date for the particular year, and then post that out. Anyway, so you can schedule those posts, you can backdate. Now, that's how it works now on mine with this on the side here. I'm pretty sure if I go to this other page that I'm at each.
So the backdate one is, for instance, if you had it posted in 1992 that you put on the
Yep. See, this page, I don't know what it is. It must be, I don't even know what it is, to be honest, because this page has got more likes than our other one. But this one's still on the old format, whereas I've got the clock here. So I click on that and then schedule the date and the time. I have no idea why there's a difference, but anyway, that just tells you the two different sides. So also with the Facebook page, you can put the like box on your website. I think most people in this room has that already on their website that we put on there. You can't do that with a personal profile. And insights we've covered. So that's quite a lot about Facebook. I really do think that Facebook's probably the most important thing for social media for us to concentrate on at the moment. And Facebook really is a visual one-stop shop. Okay, Twitter is more and more becoming more like that, where you can see photos and videos. Before, it was literally just text or links. Okay, but I find Facebook's just so visual. Instagram, it's just photos. Okay, so for me, I'm like, well, you can do that on Facebook. Why would you worry about Instagram? To me, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so that's about Facebook. So Twitter. How many people do you know on Twitter? Exactly. So I don't necessarily recommend people worry about Twitter, because there's only, look, Twitter is, so compared to the 13.2 million Australians on Facebook, there's only 2.5 million Australians on Twitter, and a lot of those accounts would be set up and not used again and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I don't worry about it. Twitter is really good if you want breaking news before the news is even talking about it. That's what Twitter's powerful for. Because anywhere around the world, like even the other day, after I finished skating, there was all these fire engines and police blocking off Chapel Street. I went to Twitter, searched hashtag Chapel Street, and there was already someone saying, yep, Mama Falafel is burning down right now. So I knew straight up before the news would even get there what had happened because of Twitter.
that's pretty much what I use Twitter for. Just finding the breaking news, or often, if we watch a bit of NBA, we pay for an NBA League Pass so we can stream all the NBA games. If there's any issues or something like that, we can go to Twitter, hashtag NBA League Pass. Anyone else around the world that's having issues, or whatever, they'll be talking about it. So it's just really handy for that type of stuff. That's really all I get out of Twitter. I don't worry about anything else on there.
But if something's that serious anyway, like, it normally turns up on Facebook anyway.
It will. It's just on Twitter before anything else.
Yeah.
It's just generally where people put it, and it's easier to search for the hashtags and stuff through Twitter. But yeah, it will probably end up on Facebook. It'll end up on the news if it's in Australia, but it's easy to find out more about that. So, what else? There's lots of spam and dead accounts on Twitter. I reckon like from an agent's perspective, or whether it's yours, whatever, people would be better off door knocking, dropping, creating drops, doing something else other than wasting time on Twitter.
Is it true though you can then your account for something so it
You can.
Post in Facebook, it just goes on Twitter?
You can. A couple of things around that is you'd still need to monitor Twitter in case someone replied and was interacting with you. So you'd still end up having to go there anyway. But also different audiences. The people that are more on Twitter and constantly tweeting aren't necessarily on Facebook as much. So there are a different audience. When the posts go across, there's only 140 characters in Twitter. So it'll do whatever's gone through on your Facebook, and then it'll have an fb.me. It's basically a link, a shortened URL for Facebook. People click, and then it takes you to Facebook where the other thing is. It doesn't show you, or they can't see the full post. So I don't necessarily think it's a good idea to link the accounts. Yeah. So that's what I'd say about that. All right. LinkedIn. Who's on LinkedIn? It's great for search engine optimization. It is really good. So I think if I Google my name, Harcourts, my Harcourts website, and then my LinkedIn. That's the reason why I have it. I log in maybe once every couple of weeks, if that. It's normally just to accept people's friend requests. Essentially, Joey's on there a bit.
Yeah, I set that up for him.
Oh yeah, yeah. He posts every now and again and stuff like that, but I barely go in there. I've been here for a while, so I haven't changed jobs. If I was to change jobs, I'd update it. I've got a couple of recommendations. So people that I've dealt with. So I've got a recommendation from Clive, from Tanya Nevin-Jones, and from Andrew DeSanto, I think it was, which is essentially like a testimonial, but it's on LinkedIn. So if anyone goes to LinkedIn, I've got that testimonial there. I'm going to talk more about that stuff later. So yeah, it's very much a very business online profile. I've only got the one photo, and it's my corporate photo. I don't have any personal ones on there. If you go for any other jobs, your employers are going to look you up, and if not, the clients are going to look you up if they're on LinkedIn. Same with Facebook, and that's why, and separate to this session, you've really got to look at your Facebook privacy settings, because clients are going to look you up. That it is actually gaining a lot more traction. I've noticed in the last 6 to 12 months, LinkedIn has just gone through the roof. People can also, there's the endorsements, so people can go on and endorse you for social media, sales, property management, whatever, which I think helps shows you up. And it takes very little time. It's like a set and forget. As I said, I barely log in. I don't post. I don't necessarily interact with people. From time to time, I might talk to people on there, but not very often. It's just more logging in, accepting friends, or accepting people's requests. I don't accept everyone. I've started to really limit. If I look at it and go, are they of any benefit to me? Anyway, so that's LinkedIn, guys. If you're not on there, recommend you get on there. From a business perspective, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Harcourts has got a page. The thing with LinkedIn, a lot of those business pages, you can't set a business page up using the same, so you know how all of our emails are like at harcourts.com.au? You can't set up one for your office using North Geelong at harcourts.com.au, because there's the Harcourts one using the email at harcourts.com.au. So LinkedIn, for whatever reason, don't want all the different franchise branches getting involved in it. It's more from the head office perspective, which I don't think is a bad thing. So that's why I'd only recommend LinkedIn for personal. Okay. Any other questions on LinkedIn? All right, YouTube. It's the second largest search engine. What's the largest? Guess who owns YouTube? So the two of the largest. I used to use this joke about my mate went for, not so really a joke, but my mate was going for an interview, didn't know how to tie a tie. So he YouTubed it. Didn't know how to tie a tie, so he YouTubed it. Okay? I was at a new office the other day. The guy, one of the newbies, didn't know how to tie a tie because he was in a different industry, he didn't have to wear a tie. He YouTubed it. Second exam, I was like, what? Wow. So more and more people are turning to YouTube for certain things, for how-to, for tutorials. Because YouTube owns it, so Google owns YouTube, if you search for stuff, often you'll see videos showing up in the search results. Certainly if you go to videos, you see a lot of the YouTube showing up. So I think that's why it's important. Owned by Google. People search videos. It makes it easy to share videos. So when you do copy the links and you put it into Facebook or whatever platform, they can play the video from within that platform. They don't have to go away. So Vimeo can be the same. Not many people might have even heard of Vimeo or would even necessarily go to Vimeo to search. So I think for us, YouTube's probably the best platform. And first of all, just like everything else, YouTube's free. Okay. So if you're getting property videos done, and I know we've talked a little bit about it, but property videos, other things you might want to put up, your auction videos, office profile videos. You might even want to do a vlog, which is basically a video blog, just around what's going on in your area, what the market's doing. You don't have to do it all that often, but you have to do it consistently. Okay. So even if it was once a quarter, once a month, whatever, just make sure it's consistent around that. There's plenty of others, guys. So your Instagram, your Google Plus, your Pinterest, your Foursquare. I've got one office that's starting to use Instagram. The problem is I don't really know what photos could you take that people are going to want to look at. Really dirty, disgusting houses or bathrooms or kitchens, or really cool, nice, funky sort of things. But then, you know, we've got to be careful. We can't just, you know, if we're doing an appraisal or something, we can't just necessarily take a photo, put it on Instagram without getting the client's approval first and stuff like that. So, you know, it's just a matter of what could we take cool photos of to post out that people are going to want to look at. That's probably the main thing. Google Plus, we spoke a little bit about. It's certainly at this stage, I wouldn't worry about it. In the future, with regards to having it set up now for the Google Maps, sure, set it up, but you don't need to go back in. You don't need to be posting, updating, or anything like that. It's just kind of a set and forget type thing. Foursquare, I wouldn't worry about. Pinterest is more for like recipes and stuff like that. Okay, so Facebook's probably the biggest one that I'd worry about right now. All right. So as far as social media is concerned, content is king, context is queen, and as we've already discussed, consistency is the key. Okay. So the content that you're putting out, like we already talked about it, when you create your own posts, get your own photos, make your own graphics, it is going to work a lot better than if you're just copying, you know, a link from somebody else or getting a graphic. So, yeah, the context is the king. The content, the context on how you actually say it and word it. It also, you need to make sure that you're wording it for your target audience. You know, the way that we would word something as opposed to a pub, as opposed to an ice cream company, again, all slightly different. You can, you know, we can have a bit of fun, but probably not as much fun as maybe Cornettos or Drumsticks can have posting about ice creams and stuff like that. So, you know, you just got to be a little bit careful around that.
That's what it is.
Part of with social media, guys, it is more of a, you know, it's designed for us to have a bit of fun. And I think back in the day, or like the older generations, were so much more professional. You know, the spelling and grammar had to be perfect. So, you know, certain things that, you know, when you write a letter, it's Mr. and Mrs. But nowadays, because we're working so much, I heard this, there's this lady, Kirsty Dumfrey, I think her name was, and she came up with this word, FERC. Basically mixing fun with work, and that's how she got FERC. So for her, what she would do is she liked going on walks or whatever. So she'd invite clients to go on a walk with her, so they'd end up having a meeting while they were walking, or certain aspects like that. So for her, like it came together. And with this day and age, we're working so much, you need to have a bit of fun with it. So social media is allowing us to do that, but I guess the Gen Ys and down, even Gen X as well, are having a bit more fun. Dress codes are a bit more relaxed these days than perhaps what they used to be. So things are slightly changing. You look at some of the office spaces like Facebook, Google, a lot of tech companies, they got slides between floors and they got kitchens and all this crazy cool stuff. So things are changing. So yeah, it's a matter of having a bit of fun, and I think more people should go on golf meetings or walking meetings or something like that. Like, it'd just be so much better to get out and do that. I guess like we run a lot of rollerblading events. So we had the Victorian titles last weekend. We come up with all that stuff while we're having beers and we make notes and we put stuff down. So we're catching up as mates and we're hanging out, but we're actually getting things done as well. Probably a little bit different to perhaps in real estate, but you can still, with clients, go and do some of these other things. And certainly with really important clients, if you were building a relationship with a developer who's going to give you guys or your office a lot of business. If I was a business owner and the developer liked golf, let's go on a golf meeting. Let's go and have a round of golf. Let's have a chat around things. What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Just do things a little bit different. Anyway, so the fun with social media, as we said before, be human. You need to be able to show who you are, your values, what you stand for, and that you actually care about what you're doing. I think team engagement certainly with Facebook is really important. So if you post something out, get the team, to either share it if it's something that's relating to them. I know a lot of offices perhaps might on their Christmas parties, obviously that's coming up, taking a photo and then tagging everyone in it. So that's really good for the office, because every time someone's tagged, that photo goes to their news feed. So again, it just promotes about where people are working. So people then know, I've got a friend in real estate. You never know when someone's having a problem with real estate or their agent or whatever. Such and such, they work in real estate. Why don't you give them a call and see what they might be able to help you out? So it even just might spark something like that. So I think team engagement and making sure that the whole team is involved. And it might even be that, a sales consultant has I remember I was down at Carrum Downs one day and when Shane was there, he came in and he'd just been to this property, had a really crazy garden. I don't know whether it was crazy good or it was crazy like a jungle crazy, but something like if you find really out there things, you might want to take a photo and share that with people. But you need the whole team involved for them to be thinking, could this be good for social media? And then give it to perhaps any of you guys who might actually do the posting side. As well, guys, experiment with your posts. If you think of some crazy idea, try it. See if it works. The whole point is, I've tried over the years that we've done it through us, trying different posts, and as much as I've tried to put out posts that people can share, like our officers can just share, tax information each year for investors that have properties. No one cares, no one shares it, no one looks at it. So I've stopped doing that, because if they're not interested, why am I bothering with it? But I've had to at least try and experiment and play around, experimenting with different times of the day, different posts, a bit more controversial, a bit more professional. Just have a play with it, and then you'll slowly start to work out just what sort of posts that your audience they want to see, and the ones that get more engagement. But yeah, it's a matter of having a bit of a play and experimenting a little bit about that. Push the boundaries, but also be careful at the same time. Also think about, what do your clients actually want? Step back a second and go, okay, if I was on the clients, or if I was following another real estate page, what would I want to see from them? And is that what you guys are delivering, or are you delivering something that you think they want, but if you actually look at it from the other side, actually maybe they don't care about that at all, or maybe they could be getting that information from somewhere else. So just have a little bit of a think about that. And different platforms, different audiences. So we spoke a little bit about that as well. So, the people that are on Twitter are going to be looking at different things. They want it fast. They don't want to be clicking and going to Facebook to see the rest of the post or something like that. They want to be able to see everything that you're trying to get across within that platform, as opposed to having the link in a way and going other areas. All right, so what type of stuff should we post? local information. What's going on in your area? Okay, even if it's roadworks on a major highway that's going to delay traffic, let people know about it that day. Maybe even take a photo. Like when we did look at Yui, they had the picture of all the hail and stuff from the storms. That was pretty cool. You know, maybe try and get some sort of a cool roadworking picture or whatever. Even it might be storm damage and they're fixing it. So if you had a photo of the storm, you put that up, whatever the case may be. But yeah, definitely local information. Real estate tips, buying tips, renting tips. Frequently asked questions. I'm sure as sales consultants and property managers, quite often they get asked the same question time and time and time again. Hey guys, we've been getting this question asked a lot lately. We thought we'd try and share it just in case anyone else was wondering as well. Put it out. And that could be in a video. You might have a nice photo or a graphic that you make up to help explain it, whatever the case may be. DIY, home ideas or cleaning tips, spring cleaning tips, all that sort of stuff. Like I remember property managers. If you need cleaning tips, go and talk to property managers. I remember when I was a property manager, and like, you know those old hot plates, they're like cast iron hot plates, and then they get all stains and they're discoloured, you rub them, and when they're wet they look great, but when they dry they look all crappy again. Supermarket, there's hot plate magic. It really is a thing, and it brings them up. It's like shoe polish for your hot plates. You guys might have all known about that, but I didn't. And this is going back a few years ago. But when I found that, I was like, wow, this is really great. And now I can, even for me, when I was going out prospecting for new business, I could be talking to landlords and just making sure that they're aware of that. And if they didn't know, that was something that set me apart from somebody else because I'm giving them cleaning tips around it as well. So that WD-40 has got some pretty amazing cleaning tips. Coke, I've heard of people pouring a can of Coke in, in the bottom of your toilet's got all stains and stuff. Put a can of Coke in there, leave it overnight. It's all nice and clean. There you go. What was that? Stains?
Well, I put white nail polish on my dad's maroon carpet.
Yep.
And so I quickly looked it up, and on Google it came up with hairspray. So I put hairspray on it, gave it a good scrub, and it came off. And I've done it on clothes ever since. Awesome. Yeah, I've done that scrub on clothes. And then you can, no, right.
I guess I need to have hairspray to do that with. But that's really cool. See, something like that is gold.
Yeah, I put that in my first newsletter. No, really, it is. It's awesome.
Not that you might want to experiment on your dad's maroon carpet again, but maybe you go to a carpet shop and just say, hey, have you got any just crappy offcuts that you don't want? I just want to trial a few things. Why don't you make a video on that? Just film it on an iPhone. Just say, hey guys, today I actually spilt some nail polish recently, and I googled it and came up with this, so I thought I'd just share it. Yeah, put it down, dry it, and then scrub it, and just go, wow, look at how it's come out.
That's cool.
It takes bugger all time at all. You don't even need to edit it. Just go straight off your iPhone.
Yeah.
Boom. I think it's a great idea. I think cleaning tips and stuff like that are perfect. And maybe do you guys clean regularly in your house? What day of the week do you clean on?
Every day.
Oh, you
I
clean.
like it.
But-
Before the weekend.
Yeah. So would that be most people?
We have to work.
So maybe on a Thursday you put out your cleaning tips. So you look at, when do we think most people would be cleaning, and try and relate it back to that, and then so maybe you do that calendar and slot those sort of things in on those particular times. So the DIY home ideas. Bunnings has some pretty cool videos and stuff like that around home ideas. I am going to talk a little bit about where to find some of this content, but that wasn't on the list. But Bunnings definitely has some cool stuff. But there's all that sort of. You can just Google and you find a million ideas. You might even around spring cleaning tips. Google spring cleaning tips. Find a few different sites that have got really cool things. Get the best ones, and you could even make a graphic up that just has the cleaning tips so people can see a photo. Now, to do that, you can either search online for a photo editing tool or photo designing tools, but I use PowerPoint a lot for the banners and stuff. Really easy. You could go in, make a colourful box, even with the Harcourt's blue. You could use white font, do your top 5 cleaning tips, put a Harcourts logo in it, save it, and you can share that out. Really simple and easy, but again, it's original content that you guys have created. The office and team culture, like your Christmas parties, like that. But yeah, any kind of charity community, if you sponsor the local soccer or cricket club, go down there, talk about it. I know Jay does a lot with the Mornington Peninsula Disabled Surfers Association of the Mornington Peninsula. And it's all about putting smiles on dives. I talk about it a lot. And they actually got a grant from the Harcourts Foundation for a children's beach wheelchair. So it was a lot easier for the kids to get down to the beach and stuff. And I've been down there to help out. I've only done it twice, so I'm not claiming to be... Okay. But, it was really cool. It was really rewarding. It's on a Saturday. And stuff like that, if you're involved in that and you're getting photos, again, it's just really great to show what you guys do and that you actually care about the local communities, as opposed to a lot of people think real estate agents is just all about the dollars, whereas often it's not, and an office is bound together. So I think that's really important to show that side of things as well. I think sold results or testimonials, award stuff, that's great, but don't go overboard with it. If it's all about look at me, it goes back to the whole stereotypical real estate agent, I think. So, like with your sold results, if you've had a really good auction, sure. Maybe you look at, do a graphic around your sold results for a particular month or a particular week or something like that. It doesn't need to be, each day, just sold, just listed. Like, I wouldn't go down that path. So, yeah, within reason, I think award stuff as well. Like, I see some awards nights, an office will post multiple times throughout the night. It's like, really? No one cares that much. If you had a nice photo of all the awards or a team photo with the awards, that's your one post and people will engage with that. But if you do too much, it gets a bit out of control. Okay. Testimonials, again, within reason, it can go overboard, but I know you guys have been posting some that's really good and a few other offices, so I think those are really good as well. Even better would be if the client themselves actually went and wrote on your page or gave you a review. I think that's really good. I'm going to talk about reviews and testimonials a bit later as well. But yeah, that's something else I put on there. And kids. People love seeing photos of kids. So I know, like, people put up like the sold signs and stuff. I look at a lot of them. The ones that have got kids in them get more engagement than any of the others. People are going to show that, see that as well. Yep. Peter Burley does, colouring in competitions quite regularly with kids. On his website, he's got kids holding their colouring in, some kids with their prizes, stuff like that. People just love it. A lot of the areas that we're in are family areas. And they see that, like, oh wow, they care about the kids. The one, Joe's High Five, that was awesome. People are going to see that one as well. So that's the sort of stuff. So let's have a look at, so this is Donna in Geelong. So again, she's obviously with, I presume that's her kid. And they were doing like a night for White Ribbon. And you can see 805 people engaged with that because it was a community or a charity type thing. Plus there's the kids involved in that. Harcourts Geelong again. So again, I'm not sure around the rules of the competition, but it's obviously working and they've got it. So competition time, post a photo of your Christmas tree and at least someone from your family in it. There's a whole, I couldn't screenshot everything, but there was a whole string of them. And even these ones have got 6 replies, 24 likes, 25 likes, and there's been 15 shares, because what's happened is people have posted their photo, shared the post and said, please go on and like the photo with my kids in it to help us win. It just works really well. The thing with Geelong, and I tell people to follow Geelong and North Geelong a lot, is it just really comes down, it really shows off their sincere and their team culture. Like, it really, really does. Because people are like, oh, what, especially Geelong. I just remember ages ago when they came on board, I just said, people follow Geelong. I don't even know what it was, but they just, when they did it, it was just kind of like just so sincere that people just saw that, and they just got so many people liking that. Like, is anyone, the Australia Day drops? I know you guys do them where people put the Australia flag and do all the drops. These guys took photos of them doing the drops and also actually handing them out. I know you guys do the same. And I remember John was saying how they got random phone calls saying, hey, thank you so much for the flag. That was great. My kids loved it. So getting phone calls, getting posts on their page. And I said to Donna, because a lot of the time with our offices, it's other real estate agents or other people from Harcourts that comment. And I said to Donna, do you know half these people? She's like, no. I was like, perfect. That's exactly what you want. Because the last thing we want is too many other offices or real estate agents just commenting, and it's never about the actual public. North Geelong, so the 41, so again, they actually made that graphic as opposed to just saying we've leased this many properties or grab some stock standard image. And so I think because of that, it's bright, it's big. A lot of people saw that, got reached out there a lot. This is is it for October?
Yeah.
Right. This one here, so posting, and then this kid even high-fived Joe. And again, because of all that, because of kids, and it's just happy, plus, just the wording, again, it's going out to a lot of people. So Warragul, so again, now, do you guys pay and promote your stuff?
We did at the start of the year.
Okay.
Why? Because everyone loved it.
That was massive. But again, instead of them posting Brendan's Awards, Pete's Awards, this award. Yeah, and it's one post, it's not over the top, just saying, hey, we've got these, or we've had these awards. So I think, that's a really good thing. Tacoma, you guys have a smaller base than some of the other offices, but that was one of the big posts. Yeah.
The mother actually emailed that off her own back to us. And so obviously we ended up asking her if it was on Facebook. Probably always ask, but she said of course, so
yep.
it's a really good outcome.
My mate, until he broke his neck recently, worked at a coffee shop in Kew, and they often have kids come in for mochachinos or baby chino, like all these different things. And then they had, there was something going on. I don't know, they basically, the school was doing a colouring competition, they did around this, and I don't know, they ended up getting permission for them to post photos and kids and stuff, and for them it worked really good, even if it was a cafe, because they got kids involved, and they wanted to create this community type atmosphere. So, yeah, that's really good. I think Kira did say, really important thing, make sure you get permission from the parents as well before you do that. So a couple of hints and tips. When you're posting stuff, post pictures, videos, links. Don't just necessarily have just straight text. So I just searched for pictures in Google Images and found that, and I thought, wow, that for me that was where my eyes went to. So and basically where you're capturing your audience is not people are going to go and visit your page; it's in their newsfeed. So when people are going through, what's going to capture their eye to stop and go, what the hell is this about, and read. So the pictures, when you post a video, it'll have like a thumbnail of that video, what it's going to look like. I think you can even change those ones as well. With links, again, link what photos are in that article, or you can choose a photo now and re-change the photo. But yeah, I would try and recommend staying away from just text posts. Or even when there is the option of putting a link in, if there's no photos on the page, it doesn't show up. So either try and upload an image so there is something there. So that's just sort of, when you're actually posting stuff, that's just a bit of tips and hints around it. Alright. Even though I'm saying this is not recommended, I'm not saying it's right or wrong for your office, because I am using people in here, so I'm not trying to put anyone down or anything like that. But first of all, listings. And I think most people in this room don't do too much of that. Opens exactly. And as much as you think, oh, this would be great, we're not putting the listings out, we're just saying this is what open. If it's not engaging with them and they're not looking at it, let's stop that, do more something they're going to engage with, because then they're going to more likely to look at all your posts. Whereas if you do too much of those ones they don't care about, they'll just skip over everything. So yeah, it is just looking at that. The look at me, I'm really good, and it's all about me. It's not. People don't care, and they'll see through that. So just, obviously be a little bit careful around that. I know, and we spoke about this, like even with those, the certain days, I know we often post some out. I might find something funny and go, wow, I want to share this and let people know because it is funny. But in all reality, people don't care. as harsh as it is, or it might even be like long weekends. Most people know it's a long weekend. I'm guilty. I posted stuff like that. Great long weekend, or thumbs up to the Queen for having the day off, or something like that. But in all reality, do people care? Probably not. I see certain officers post a lot of motivational stuff. So, right, auction.
No, they don't do it all the
Auction.
time.
Sorry, but yeah, I was just looking at the reach because when I'm an admin of the pages, I can see how many people it's gone to, and again, it's just looking at those posts. That one only hit 12, Kira. That opens.
Oh, yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
What I do like about it from both of them is it wasn't just text; it was a big visual. You know, the pink. You know, wow, that's a visual. It's going to stop in the newsfeed, and that. But the fact is, Facebook know what, like when you're doing the posts, Facebook will kind of, I don't even know how it works, their algorithms, it's like Google, it's so complicated, it's just not funny. But somehow they know what people are going to like or want to see, and they actually don't put it in as many newsfeeds, and that's why you're doing stuff like that.
Yep.
Obviously, the more people that engage with certain things, again, so let's say you had a blog page on your website, and every time you posted, you had a lot of people that commented and got engaged, Facebook's going to send that to more people. If less people are doing it, you're posting the same link over and over again, it's end up going to go to less people. That, I could barely even read these other ones to actually make it work. Now, what do you do, like, I don't know if this is the right picture there, but negative comments. I want to talk about negative stuff. If you do get, as we said, it's better to know about it than to just block it out and bury your head in the sand. You know, want to know. And sometimes it could be constructive criticism, or if they really did have a problem. At least if you know about it, it gives you opportunity to fix it. So don't delete those posts. I would keep them there. Stay calm. Respond and fix. So look at their, you know, often people go, oh, they're just a bloody tenant having whinge or blah, and they get really defensive about it. And I had an office the other day, I won't share who, but they had a bad post, they freaked out and they wanted to get rid of it. They ended up turning their page into a profile because they couldn't delete the review. Then you can't go back, and they basically have to start again now because they just freaked out about this comment, as opposed to actually discussing and trying to fix it in that newsfeed. All right. So I think the best thing to do is just look at it, discuss, or say, hey, really sorry you had that issue. Could you please call us on, or please email us? We'd like to help you out, or even if it's something small, can you help them out online? The more information you've got there, if someone goes to your page and looks at it, they don't necessarily go, oh, they've had one bad review with one person, I'm never going to use that business. I'm sure everyone's gone to Macca's or KFC at one point and had a really bad meal, but I bet you've been back again. So it's just a matter of, and even if it is quite a bad complaint, again, still just stay calm, look at it, and just decide how you're going to fix it. Even have like a disputes or a complaints policy. So at least, that might be on your website. Say, hey, thanks for, really sorry you had this bad experience. Please click here or click on the following link. There's a link to our full complaints procedure. We'd love it if you follow that. We really want to help you resolve it. We just want to do it formally or something like that. If anyone goes on there, the fact is that you care because someone's commented, you care how their interaction, and you want to try and fix it, and you've actually gone out of your way. You've got a full complaints resolution policy as well. So, again, it's something to do that as opposed to like this other office did and just freak out and kind of stuff up their social media a little bit. Another thing is don't take it personally. I read something yesterday when I was going through this stuff, and it was around, like with your business or your work, a lot of people take things personally. Like you might get criticised from work, but then you take it really personally, get you down in the dumps outside of work. Sometimes you need to separate it, and yeah, just try not to take it too personally. Particularly if you weren't the one that actually, was the one that had the dealing with them. It was out of your control anyway. So yeah, sometimes we take it a bit too personally. And yeah, do they have a point? So yeah, it's just a matter of communicating, guys, getting back, try and resolve those things. And yeah, as I said, create a complaints process. All right, sorry, I know it's 11:30. Really quickly, reviews. I think reviews online are also now a new testimony. So often back in the day, we just say, can you please write us a testimonial if you had a great experience? Please let us know. And everyone's got all these written ones. You can put them together, but no one's going to read 60 written testimonials that you've collected over the 10 years you've been in real estate, are they? Whereas nowadays, you can review on Facebook, people can write good tweets, they can review on Google+, white pages, yellow pages, True Local, Hot Frog, all those stuff that we did in the online marketing. So why not ask different vendors, if you've got quite a young, savvy client that you know has been interacting with you on Facebook, why don't you ask at the end of that transaction and say, hey, you've had a really great result, is there any chance you might be able to write us a review on our Facebook page? And that way, if someone goes there, they can see certain testimonials. When they call you out in making decisions with Harcourts, they'll see the written testimonials. If they go to your website, there's other testimonials. Google, and they search and look up your office. Oh, reviews? Oh, wow, they've got some really good reviews. Everywhere they go, they can see a number of different testimonials. I think that's what we should be starting to do. Ask your clients to review. You could even say, it's going to be further, but you could even ask your clients, say, hey, would you mind posting on our Google Plus pages? Here's a link. We'll send you a couple of movie tickets for your efforts or something like that. That can even help with your search engine optimization. So you know how, like if you Google real estate agents or a particular business in an area, and there's the Google ones with the pins. I don't know. The only way I can see how Google would rank you higher is if you've got a higher rating score and you've got more people rating on it. There's no other reason why anyone would show up, because it's a Google Plus page, so it's not like it's a website that's attracted with keywords. It's literally the same sort of platform. So yeah, I would try and look at getting those reviews, and yeah, if you have to give away a couple of movie tickets, do so. So here's a couple. So that was on the Warrigal. So you guys got a couple of really good reviews on your page. Yep. There was another bad one that probably wasn't responded to.
Yeah.
This was a favorited tweet, I think, or a tweet that just went out. So just looking for a trustworthy real estate agent to help you buy or sell property, contact Russell, and that was a link to Russell's website. So Russell works for Harcourts. I have no idea who this guy is, but it looks like it's a client. That's a great thing. You know, people are tweeting about that. That's really good. Or this was one on a Google Plus page. So for that business, the Google Places page. And again, good to find a property management team that stay in one place. Oh, it was Lang Warren, because the Lang Warren property management team they've been there for at least as long as I've been in Harcourts. So, which is a little bit rare with property management, and that's why that person posted that. But that's a really good thing to know about as well. Okay, where can you find the content? So within your office, all right. So as we said, you know, sales consultants, random things at properties, animals at properties, Christmas parties, whatever. So within your office, you can already find content. Set up a Google alert. So if you just type in Google Alerts, you can find it. Basically, you can put in keywords, and it'll search the whole entire internet. You can choose if you want to get an email whenever it happens, once a day, once a week, whatever, and you can look at just your area. Just be careful, because if let's say Ballarat, there might be Ballarat in America, you might get a mixture of both, so you just got to be a little bit careful around that. But that'll help just finding out what's going on in your area. Just Google stuff. So if you're looking for your tips and hints and cleaning things, just Google it. I'm sure it'll tell you a million things. Doorknob is a website that I follow. I get an email once a day. So it's just DORNOB, and it's got all this random house stuff, like really cool random houses, really crazy designs, whether it be really small houses, different houses. I've seen houses on the sides of cliffs on there. Doorknob. Local council website for what's going on in the area, events and activities, any major subdivisions or anything like that. Harcourts have got a new blog that's I don't know who's updating it, but international.harcourts.net, and up in the top right there's a blog section. They're quite visual, there's a lot of photos, so they're really good. Something else that you might want to just get and post. I hate to say it, but realestate.com.au have got a really good blog with really cool stuff. So again, if you just need some sort of content, that's a place where you can go as well. Okay, so there's just a couple of ideas of where you get stuff. As I said, Bunnings is really good, but if you Google things, you'll find a million stuff. But if you can create your own original content, that's great as well. really quickly, this is the second last slide. So promoting your actual page, the links or the like box, which everyone's got on the websites, cross-promote platforms. So if you're on LinkedIn or you've got Twitter or something, make sure there's links between your platforms, on your website, etc. Engage with other businesses online. So especially with Facebook, when you log in as the page, search for other businesses in your area and talk about them and interact with those businesses, because that will help them promote you even when clients come in their door and clients come in your door. Someone goes, oh, where's a great place to get coffee? Oh, yeah, go down there. And so you can help cross-promote people. Put a sign in your office window, same thing in reception, or even meeting rooms. Often people might be sitting in there while the sales agent goes and gets contracts or gets this, and they're sitting around doing nothing. If there's signs on the wall to say, follow us on Facebook, you're going to get information about this, and they're going to sit there and read it. So it's all just sinking into their head. Email your database, letting them know that you're on there. Put a flyer in your blue box or on some sort of marketing that's in your blue box. Like us on Facebook. Your tenant packs, anything that's going out, you can put a little flyer in around it. On your business cards. On my business card, it's got our Facebook page now. It's been like that for a while. And if anyone's got any promotion of cars, you could put a like us on Facebook as well if you wanted to do that. So that's how to promote a little bit, guys. It's very similar to promoting your website in all reality. All right, does anyone have any other questions?